I'm Susan Phillips. I am a mixed media artist and a fine art photographer. I live in New York City and Woodstock. Very fortunate to have that opportunity to be in both places.
I know you wear two hats. I mean, you're a photographer but also an artist that works in mixed media.
Yes.
How do you identify primarily? Do you see yourself as more one than the other?
You know, I've thought about that a lot recently, but I would have to say that I would say first I'm a photographer because I have been doing that for 35 years. And the collage work I only started in 1999. But obviously it's something that I really, really like doing. I'm not a painter per se. I do monotypes. I play. But first I would say, if forced to say, I would say first a photographer.
Do you see yourself, I mean, there's a very strong tradition of photography in New York City, of course, and of course women photographers with strong connections to, you know, to that city as well. Do you see yourself in any kind of tradition either way, either as a photographer or as a woman artist?
I just prefer to be an artist. It's nice to be a woman. I'm involved with the National Association of Women Artists, which is a specific women's organization. It's the oldest one in the United States, actually. I just walk in the streets of New York and I shoot what interests me, or upstate. There's no line that I can direct myself to. It's not Cindy Sherman. It's not. I don't do portraits. I specifically do not do portraits. In terms of the collage, I do have idols. I mean, I have photographic idols too, but the list would be way too many.
Both the work that you do in the city and also some of the landscape-based work that you've done always relies on a very particular moment. You know, I guess that golden moment that we sometimes talk about in photography and in landscape generally. Is that important? I guess the timing of a particular moment of a shot?
If you're walking in the morning and it has rained the night before, for me, if there's a puddle there, that's the time I'm shooting it, when I'm there. I have to do with the light as it will. Sometimes you get a shot and it is just the right moment and the light is perfect. But when you're walking anywhere, in Europe, in the United States, you have to shoot what you can when you're there and then think about it afterwards.
Some of the work that we've got on the walls here has a kind of mysterious quality to them. You're slightly disoriented in terms of whether...
I like the abstraction, especially with water. I'm fascinated by water and what it does in all its forms. So, in terms of, I mostly frame in the camera when I shoot. I find that I do very little cropping because that's how I did it with film and that's how I continue to do it. When I do things in iPhoto, if I edit a little bit, you know, if there's something in the corner that I didn't see, I'll crop. And I try not to enhance. People ask me sometimes, are the photographs enhanced? And if I think it will add to it and I need to pop it a teeny bit, I might do that. But the one thing I don't like is in many of the photography magazines, they're so over-saturated that it doesn't look real. I mean, and I hate that. You know, when you go into the forest is wonderful, but it's not emerald green. And the rocks are not purple, as they often appear in magazines. So I don't like messing with stuff, and I don't know Photoshop anyway, so I just know how to resize my images in Photoshop.
So yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of those, I guess, ramped up colour values that we see in, say, commercial photography do not reflect, I guess, the kind of muted quality of light that can be the experience of being in a forest or...
Now, if an artist chooses to do that, and that's perhaps the vision they have in their head, and that's how they want to present something, that's their artistic decision. But for myself, I try to stay as natural as possible.